Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to HA After Dark. My goodness, this might be one of the first places on YouTube, along with, of course, well, she's technically not on YouTube, but, well, actually, she is, Judge Janine. This probably is one of the first YouTube channels to bring this up. By the way, to my super chat, thank you so very, very much. The Michael Cohen tapes have been altered. Isn't that interesting? Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much for tuning in on this late evening, early morning, early Sunday morning, late Saturday evening, HA After Dark. Let's just roll. Let's start it with, well, I'll read you this first. So, Fox News, Giuliani says experts think someone messed with Cohen tape. So they've put all their eggs in one basket. They have put all their eggs in one basket. They could not find any Russian hackers, none exist. They could not find any evidence of Trump Russia. They could not find any evidence that he did something illegal with Stormy Daniels. They could not find any evidence that he did anything wrong with Karen McDougal. With Manafort and Michael Cohen and others, but especially Manafort and now Michael Cohen, what they're trying to do is they're trying to hurt people around Trump so badly that they flip and sing on Trump about something. That they just go ahead and flip on Trump about something. We don't know what they could flip on Trump about, but it's really, really bad. It's really, really, really bad. Don't you understand? So the propaganda changes all the time. And the Mueller probe, by the way, was about Trump-Russia collusion. They couldn't find any. Then they went after obstruction. There is no obstruction, Article 2 of the Constitution, but also the IG report makes the absolute case that Comey should have been fired, that he did things that he should not have done. He was not the attorney general. He had no right to claim that that Hillary Clinton didn't intentionally commit crimes after he stated she committed all these crimes. So at the end of the day, and then, of course, the Office of Professional Responsibility, you remember when everyone got Gohmerized. The Gohmer was strong. The Gohmer just descended upon everyone. Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, how many? Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, and then you have Sally Moyer, Kevin Kleinsmith. Of course, you have Andrew McCabe. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, everybody. Sessions is essentially, it seems, one would think that he's pretty much useless, but who knows? There's no crime exactly. Inside Scarlet, exactly. There's no crime at all. Tamara Friedman, hello. Hello, everyone. No crime. And they just basically are grasping at straws. Now their claim to fame is they destroyed his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So they have really nothing. Like, what have they done? What is it? What is it that makes Democrats tick, or that makes them run as a political party? So let's just read this right here. So Giuliani says experts think someone messed with Cohen tape. So that's all they have now. Russian hackers, you can forget about that. So everything that they try to do doesn't work out. They tried to indict these like 12 Russian military officers, and then it just, backfired. Then Putin's like, oh, by the way, Bill Browder, give us Bill Browder, and you can go ahead and come over and interview these guys. So Mueller's like, no, thanks. It just sounds good to indict. See, Hillary Clinton did commit crimes. Again, she did commit crimes. She's a walking criminal. I am one of millions of people who thinks that, who actually it's the case, who can see that. Trump didn't commit crimes. Okay, now if Michael Cohen has a taxi cab business, and then he's committed crimes there, or if Manafort had a lobbying business and he's committed crimes, that has nothing to do with Russian hacking, and it certainly has nothing to do with Trump-Russia collusion, which never happened. The DNC hid its servers for a reason. So, like, what do they have? Like, what are they doing? It's so ridiculous and stupid. But I'll read you this. So, President Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, tells Fox News 2 experts and retired FBI agents have analyzed the secret recorded Trump Cohen tape and believe it was played with. Now that we've seen the full scope of Michael Cohen and Lanny Davis's deception, we don't trust anything. The tape, first obtained by CNN, was secretly recorded by the president's former attorney, Michael Cohen. In it, the pair can be heard discussing payment to Karen McDougal, a Playboy model who claimed she had an affair with Trump prior to his election as president. In a phone call with Fox News Saturday evening, Giuliani said he was trying to obtain a raw copy of that tape. According to Giuliani, analysts say the public audio is a tape of a tape. And because of that, they are unable to determine if Cohen cut off the recording in the room in real time or altered and erased parts of it at a later date. It is the worst tape you could ever hear. The worst tape. You can go ahead and waste your time if you want and listen to the tape. It's the dumbest thing in the world. It's the stupidest tape in the world. You hear people, first of all, like, so you have Michael Cohen, so he's taping Trump, and Trump is like, there's people walking around. It's so like, you just hear like papers and people walking around, and Trump's on the phone. And then he gets off the phone. You can still hear people walking around. And then everything is like, in kind of secret coded language, because obviously they're in a public setting, their campaign headquarters or whatever. And like you hear like, oh, you hear, oh, well, oh my goodness. Should I pay? Oh, no. Russell, thank you. I love Hitchens. My goodness. You hear like them talking about, then you hear Trump. Last thing he says is check. Yeah, check. And then it's like just cut off. The tape's cut off. And it's not like cut off like, oh, he stopped taping. Like there's something happened. Something bizarre and stupid happened to the tape. So it's just so lame. It's so ridiculous. And all right, let's go ahead real quick. I'll continue reading them, but this is Judge Janine. Check this out.
Going over the tape. But first, Rudy Giuliani, within the hour, has told Fox News that experts have gone over the tape that former Trump attorney Michael Cohen allegedly made of conversations with the president. And Giuliani says, quote, somebody played around, close quote, with the tape. And he says,
somebody played around with the tape. Isn't that interesting? So now what do they have? Elizabeth Luker, thank you. My fam has known Sessions for decades. Very cool. Honorable man, we don't call him the silent executioner for nothing. He works behind closed doors. It upsets me when people slander him because I know he's a good man. Elizabeth, thank you so much. And for the record, as everybody knows, I've always stated that I'm frustrated with Sessions because it doesn't seem like he's acting fast enough, but I do think there's something going on. And of course, as you know, Elizabeth, when I do my how are you today, Mr. President? That's all out of love, But Elizabeth Luker, thank you so much as always for your support of this channel. You are so wonderful. Thank you. I do think that there's something going on because really quickly, Elizabeth, this actually ties into everything that I'm doing right now or we're talking about. But it is already, ladies and gentlemen, I've played this. If you listen to this this channel, you know that I've played this before. And this is Sessions. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is Sessions. This is Sessions on CNN telling you exactly how he feels about the Clinton Foundation, which is exactly how you feel and how I feel. He knows what's going on. For whatever reason, he has to wait for political will. But I do think ultimately, he's going to be doing something very big with Trump because there's so much to work with. They actually have major crimes going on with Clinton.
Talk about the calls for a special prosecutor to look into the Clinton Foundation. What exactly is the smoking gun that Donald Trump thinks warrants a special prosecutor?
Now, watch this. Rumi Kalas, thank you, Rumi. Rumi Kalas, thank you. Tamara Friedman, so glad to be here on a Saturday evening with you and your wonderful viewers. Tamara Friedman, we are so happy to be with you. Thank you. Thank you, Tamara. Thank you, Rumi. Thank you, Tamara Friedman. Thank you, Elizabeth Luker. As always, thank you. Rumi, thank you so very, very much. Rumi Kalas, thank you. So this is Sessions. Check out Sessions before we get to the Trump tapes being altered. This is actually what Sessions truly feels. Tell us how you feel, Jeff.
Well, we've seen a whole host of things, but
I mean, we've seen emails, but where's the there?
Well, the fundamental
Where's the there
thing is you cannot be Secretary of State of the United States of America and use that position to extort or to seek contributions to your private foundation.
Yes.
Wait a minute. I mean, that is a fundamental violation of law, and that does appear to have happened.
Where? What? Where
Anyway.
has she extorted money?
Where? And so we go, I do my shtick. Where is she extorting my uranium one, cash flow to the Clinton Foundation, Haiti, $10 billion missing, weapons deals, the International Business Times broke, $156 million from 85 donors. Where's the there? A server outside the U.S. government in her basement with 30,000 emails deleted without government oversight. Where's the there? There.
Well, when people think that the way you gain entree is to give to this foundation, why are these people giving money to the foundation? Why are these people in countries that are very poor giving millions of dollars, even hundreds of millions of dollars, to a foundation that doesn't benefit them in any direct way or the people in their country? So they're doing it to gain access, and you cannot pay.
So at the end of the day, Sessions knows. Rumi Kalas, thank you. Rumi Kalas, thank you. Rumi, thank you so very, very much. Rumi, as always, thank you. It is so important, the live chat, to allowing me to just keep rocking these, but also to just speak my mind. And as always, I'm even like reading Vox, okay? Because what happens is Vox didn't like Trump. Didn't like Michael Cohen. Didn't think that he was very credible. So did the New York Times, Washington Post. They all could not stand Michael Cohen. Now Michael Cohen's a darling. Now, interestingly enough, Michael Avenatti's no longer the darling. And we'll get to that in a second. But Rumi Kalas, thank you. Thank you, Rumi. Thank you, Rumi Kalas. Elizabeth Luker, thank you. Tamara Friedman, thank you. Thank you, everyone. So let's just continue because it's important to, thank you again, Rumi. It's important to remember that Sessions is basically like Trump and Giuliani. They all know this is a long-term game. They all know. And this is something like bizarre, like YouTube now is putting just the hashtag Clinton emails on my live streams. And I'm not even putting, like, a lot of the times on the tags, I don't even put Clinton emails. So, like, I don't, maybe something's going to go on soon. Who knows? But there's a lot of, there's something going on behind the scenes because you have under the radar, and we already know in January of this year, you have Clinton Foundation and you have Clinton email probes. Hillary Clinton will get charged. She will get indicted. Pick a crime, any crime. When it takes place, the 400 plus, close to 500 people on here, okay, we'll always remember. that you guys and gals and me, we were always looking at what was taking place. We knew reality. The reality, ladies and gentlemen, is not somebody took a sledgehammer and destroyed Trump's star. Okay, that's ridiculous. That's stupid. First of all, you go to jail for a while for that kind of thing. You're destroying public property. But that's not a statement there. That's a statement. You're admitting defeat. So Rumi, Elizabeth, Tamara, thank you again. But just hear Sessions out again.
For access.
Of course.
Wait a minute. This last deal was that this prince asked in the regular order to get access to Hillary Clinton and meet with her. It was turned down. The foundation called and said, in effect, he's given $32 million, and they immediately got access. But that's wrong.
Other than a meeting, maybe that's a handshake. Maybe that's a photo op. Maybe that's a hello.
So Trump Jr. meeting didn't even get the emails. Poor guy didn't even get the emails. And there's no benefit of the doubt given. Jeff McDaniel 100. Sessions has it all. When the timing is right, it will happen. Jeff McDaniel 100. I do believe that. I do believe that. And you know what? Wouldn't it be hilarious if Rosenstein was actually turned on Clinton to save his own behind? That would be also interesting. I agree with you, Tamara. It would also be interesting. Of course, I've always been frustrated, but I've always said Sessions is doing something. There's something going on because there's too much overt evidence published. So Jeff McDaniel 100, you're 100% right. There's too much evidence ongoing of something happening. Rumi Kalish, thank you again, Rumi. Elizabeth Luker, thank you. So real quick, we'll wrap it up with Sessions.
How are you? Where is the evidence that some money was exchanged for a policy or for something that happened?
He asked for an investigation. The man wanted access to talk about something. This is very important to people, and they have an agenda. They wouldn't be asking for access for nothing, and they wouldn't be giving $30 million to a foundation that's not relevant to them. They wanted access. They got access, and I think that raises questions. I'm not saying that's a crime.
So he's being gracious at the end. Obviously, he knows it's a crime. He's privy now to a lot more information. I asked you before if you was going to work against us, and you said no, you lied. About what, Alexander? What did I lie? I don't even really know exactly. Against you, how? You talking about if Bernie runs? I wouldn't vote for Bernie. But are you I'm not sure what you mean, Alexander. I asked you before if you were going to work against us. Against you how, though? I don't know what you mean. So do you mean not vote for Trump 2020? I wouldn't vote for Trump 2020 if he gets into a quagmire or if Julian Assange is extradited to the US. But I don't know what you mean by that. Paul Clank, yes, they know they have an ultimate power to crush these enemies in one blow. They can afford to wait. That is power. Also, Moo. Thank you. Thank you, Paul Clank. Manda Tahiri. Thank you, Manda. Thank you, Manda Tahiri. Thank you. Thank you so very much. So, Alexander M. Gonzalez, I'm not sure what you are referring to. If you want to let me know, please let me know, because I don't exactly know what you're referring to. I asked you before if you were going to work against us, and you said no. How am I working against anybody? I'm not. I want to answer your question, but I don't know what you're referring to. P.O. Briley, was there a crime that was committed on the tape? Exactly. By the way, love this channel. Stayed up until 1 a.m. to watch. Thank you. So tired, but stayed up anyway. Love you and all the peeps here. P.O. Briley, thank you so very much. There was no crime. So you're 100% right, and I'm glad you stayed up, and I'm glad that you brought that up. There was no crime. A while back I read a Las Vegas Journal Review article on this type of thing, and it's not a crime to go ahead and give money alongside a confidentiality agreement. If you accept the money, it's not hush money. You're not being like, there's no you can go ahead. Trump is not intimidating these women into, like, what does he care? What does he care? He already was on the Access Hollywood tape. So the consensual, like, and they've spun that to like, oh my God, he's an avowed, he's actually admitting sexual assaults. Like, well, there aren't people who are saying that you grabbed me at that location. So that tape is like a ridiculous tape that was, obviously, I've never heard that actual phrase in my life, but like, it was obviously just a stupid thing that he said. But there was no, this is consensual. Everything with what's going on is consensual. It's all consensual. So I have no idea, like, so yeah, so the cash, the setting up of a corporation and cash through the corporation for the sole purpose of a confidentiality agreement slash, getting the person not to speak, that, would be a crime. But then they said, oh, he didn't ever pay. So, just me. This is a whole lot going on behind the scenes, and it's just amazing. I work in DC, and there's panic here. Just me. Thank you. Well, there is a lot of panic, and you can tell by, like, the best they have now is destroying his sign, which is crazy, and the Michael Cohen tapes, which almost, when I first heard the Cohen tapes, it seems to me that Cohen was in on it with Trump. It seems to me that Cohen is like playing this game. So just me, thank you. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I don't see what they have against Trump. See, the issue here is they're trying to get the Stormy Daniels issue and the Stormy Daniels issue and the Karen McDougal issue is a campaign finance violation. They're trying to say it's a campaign finance violation. If you didn't let the FEC know that you had sex with people and then paid them, therefore it is a campaign finance violation, because that should have been, that's part of your campaign in some way. So that's what they're saying, which makes no sense. So trying to read here. It is all Trump's people, but you're talking about Alexandra Ocasio and Bernie the last few segments. I was, but I wasn't. So my whole thing, I didn't I didn't want to diss Alexandra Ocasio, and there are some positive things I said about Bernie, but that doesn't mean that I'm working against anybody. In the context, so let me explain myself. So the context is that I wouldn't vote for Bernie Sanders because I don't think that he's the same person he was, and a whole lot of other reasons. And so, and within the context, I said, and I also, with Alexandra Ocasio, I didn't want to say anything to diss her. I also said something to the effect that Bernie wasn't a true socialist. So if anything, he was. So that's what I was saying. As for the clarification also regarding the fact that he owns the deep state, Trump does own the deep state. That doesn't mean that Christopher Wray has to just say, oh, I'm working for you. Christopher Wray, it's obviously very frustrating when he's like, there's nothing wrong. Comey did nothing wrong with because the IG was like, well, there's no bias. There's no bias on, but he said the prosecutorial decisions. At the end of the day, he's slowly wrestled. He has every intelligence chief has been appointed by Trump. Whether they work towards Clinton indictments and she's indicted tomorrow or 3 years from now, it's still going to happen because the deep state that she utilized to protect her is no longer there. They're all beholden to Trump ultimately. So that's what I guess I'm trying to read the live chat. So, okay. Lenny McCarthy, HB played the tape backwards, and some of it sounded like his name is, I don't even know what that means, Lennon McCarthy. He did play the tape backwards, like Judas Priest. Lennon McCarthy, thank you. No, my thing is that I've been saying from day one, Democrats are going to get completely, they're going to lose. And a lot of the things that, in terms of, anyway, I won't go down that rabbit hole right now. Anyway. Manda Tahiri, thank you. Rumi Callis, thank you so much. So basically, let's listen to Judge Jeanine Pirro.
On over the tape that former Trump attorney Michael Cohen allegedly made of conversations with the president. And Giuliani says, quote, somebody played around.
So here's the thing. So Trump had sex with a lot of women and a lot of beautiful women. And he, okay, on one hand, he's married. Okay, that's, you shouldn't do that. But on the other hand, his family loves him. His wife loves him. His kids love him. And apparently there are more tapes. And so the hilarious thing, they're so funny. So now Michael Avenatti, there's like three top lawyers. Really, I mean, the best lawyer of the three is Dershowitz, who is teaching at Harvard forever. Dershowitz asked Avenatti, he asked Avenatti the other day, he said, how do you, because Michael Avenatti is Stormy Daniels' lawyer. Here's the hilarious thing about everything, okay? This is the best part of all of this. They have nothing on Trump. Mueller is there only as a psychological defense mechanism for Democrats who can't believe they've lost, and they try to, they know they can't defeat Trump in the polls, so they have to try to get him on some kind of, oh my God, obstruction of justice when there's no crime committed. But this is the best part of all of this, okay? Now you have these lawyers who don't like each other. Now you have these lawyers who are going at it, which is absolutely hilarious. Michael Avenatti was the initial media darling. The media darling was Stormy Daniels. So we're not hearing a lot about Stormy Daniels anymore because there's nothing there. Stormy Daniels had sex with Trump. Then she said she didn't. Then she said she did. Then she took the money from Trump. Then she said, here's the money back. Well, it doesn't work that way. So Stormy Daniels, that whole thing is done now. Like, nobody's talking about it, and there's really nothing there. Because she actually stated too many times that she didn't have sex with Trump, all that stuff. So when that took place, Michael Avenatti, the lawyer for Stormy, became like, national, the resistance lawyer. Okay. So people started, he's been on CNN, MSNBC a million times. Then he was going after Michael Cohen the whole time because Michael Cohen was loyal to Trump. And Michael Cohen was said to have set up the payment for Stormy Daniels. Then Michael Cohen gets it from the Mueller probe, like, and they're like, Michael Cohen, they rush into his place, they steal all this stuff from his office, whatever, house, all that stuff. Then the narrative goes from, oh my God, Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels to, oh, you don't even know what they know about Trump. Oh, his fixer. They have also, so apparently he very likely, did the wild thing or, had intimate relationships with a whole bunch of women, not just Stormy and Karen McDougal. And so Make sure the gonna make sure the live chat is PG-13 or at least R-rated. Well, PG-13. Anyway, so then the hilarious thing is Michael Avenatti apparently went to saw Michael Cohen at a restaurant or something, and then found out in some way that there are more tapes, or found out whether it was a restaurant or something that there's more tapes. Just the other day, the hilarious part is Alan Dershowitz said, well, how do you know? If you went to Michael Cohen, that's an ethics violation. He could be disbarred. So essentially what Alan Dershowitz is saying is that potentially, possibly, Avenatti can face an ethics violation for speaking to Cohen without the approval or without the knowledge of his lawyer. Then Avenatti went at it with Dershowitz. It's hilarious. But the whole thing is Avenatti is saying there's a whole bunch of other tapes. So one can only assume there's a whole bunch of other people that he had sexual relations with. Nonetheless, the issue here is that he didn't commit any crimes, impeachable offenses. This all happened before the election, before he was president. Agent Pepsi 1. So what if Trump had affairs? It's between him and Mrs. Trump. Avenatti is a shady guy. Trump needs to order Sessions to have Mueller indict or finish. Exactly. I agree with you 100%. At the end of the day, it's his family. If his wife loves him and his family loves him and his kids love him, and he's dealt with it with his wife and his kids, nobody's business. So there you go. Nobody's business. The whole thing with Strzok is that when I go pounding on Strzok is because he was pounding. He was, let's say, he was conducting an investigation, 2 investigations with a lover at the FBI, and both were essentially conspiring against Trump and essentially against the American people. So I've always said that, like, of course you shouldn't do it, all this stuff, whatever. But whenever I got over at Strzok, and especially like the whole Gomer thing, the Gomer thing it's not that he got Gomerized because he was cheating. Ethan Long, thank you. Good evening, H.A. Red Cortez, thank you. Ethan Long, thank you. It's not that he was Strzok didn't get Gomerized because he was cheating on his wife. Strzok got Gomerized because he was lying through his teeth, and he kept on smirking. And when you keep lying and lying, you're smirking, and then the Long Island congressman from Long Island, withdraw it. Gomer flipped a switch. The Gomer flipped a switch, and then it went, biblical. All heck broke loose. But let's just continue with now.
Close quote with the tape. And he says the Trump legal team is still trying to get to the bottom of it. Among other things, Giuliani said he is trying to get access to the original full recording. A prospect Giuliani concedes is slim. And joining me now by phone on all of this breaking news is the man himself, President Trump's attorney, Mr. Mayor Rudy Giuliani. All right, good evening, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. Some shocking news tonight.
I guess, Judge, that we have to stop being shocked. I have to admit that I was. I always thought of Michael Cohen as a responsible guy, a guy who was basically honest
and what I don't understand and what I find bizarre is this. So Michael Cohen needs to get pardoned. He's not going to get pardoned by Lanny Davis. Alexander M. Gonzalez, Lisa Page said Hillary's BlackBerry hacked by China. The foreign entity could very well have been China. I don't have a source, Alexander, regarding that. Gomer, when he was Gomerizing everyone, Louis Gomer did say that a foreign entity and it wasn't just Gomer, there's some other sources too, a foreign entity, not Russia, was her emails were being siphoned off or forwarded to a foreign entity because it was hacked. And one can assume that it's Russia. Lowrider. Lowrider. Horace. And Eric H526 is wondering if you have time to check your DMs, asking for a friend. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I didn't. Okay. So Swanee Scotty. Haha. Where's Horace? Okay. So R. Giffer. HA. WG. Come together. HA. Thank you, R. Giffer. Swanee Scotty. Haha. Where's the there? Because with Clinton, it's like literally smoking gun, evidence, everything, and it's just so see that there. It's see it, and that's the thing. I mean, it's like you can't win. And then they're like, with Trump, they're like, well, how come all of these things are happening? How come all of these things are happening? How come all of these things are happening? And it's like, okay, your suspicion doesn't mean, your suspicion is not evidence. Thank you, Horace, again. Your suspicion, thank you, Eric H526, thank you. Your suspicion is not evidence. Okay, so now like the only thing they have, so Manafort and Cohen are basically like the, what was that like, thing that you beat up like in the 70s or 80s when you had like a bad day? I think it's like, it was called a shmoo or something. I don't know. And like, you just, it's like this plush thing that you just beat up. Not that I would, it's just like, maybe it's an urban legend. I don't know. That's like what Manafort is. They have nothing. They're just torturing Manafort. They have nothing. They have Michael Cohen, his medallions, his poor taxi medallions. The guy was making bank. Then Uber and Lyft came. And of course, this is another thing. I can't believe. If you're a taxi cab company in a major city in America, get an app. Get an app. Get a simple app. And then, go ahead and speak to, get the person to be able to speak to the actual driver. Big deal. Big deal. Okay. Then you can compete. A punching bag. Exactly. They're just a punching bag. Rumi Kalas, thank you so very much as always, Rumi. Thank you so very, very much. At the end of the day, they have nothing.
Rudy Giuliani
okay,
is extremely loyal to the president, as the president was to him for many, many years. I used to hear rumors about him, about his character and some of the things he did. And now I find he does things like records his client, doesn't tell him. He abruptly ended that recording as soon as the president said the word check. What we're investigating is how did that happen?
The other question here is this. If you're Trump and you've been in the limelight since the 80s, I still remember the Barbara Walters, I think it was 87 or maybe 86, where Trump was like this young billionaire, and he's like, oh my goodness, guy's a billionaire. From the 80s, 90s, early 2000s to now, has Trump ever been in some kind of, he's had bankruptcies, or he's had but has he been in some kind of major, serious legal trouble where he went to jail? No. Has he been caught up with some kind of character or some kind of, organization or something that really just took him down? No. Has he had a major, horrendous sex scandal? No. Was he ever called a racist before? Floyd Mayweather Jr. made this point when he was being interviewed. They asked him about Trump because he knows Trump. A lot of the boxers, obviously Mike Tyson is friends with Trump. But Floyd Mayweather Jr. said he was never called a racist before because he was never a racist. Nobody ever called him a racist till he became famous, or I should say he was always famous till he ran for president. That's the issue. That's the issue with Trump. If you're in the limelight in New York, you have in real estate in New York, And so, and he was spied on. So my thing is, if you spied one day on Clinton, one day the NSA did their actual job and spied on Clinton. One day, John O'Brien, when he wasn't one day he spent away from voting for a commie and actually did his job. CIA director, she had the names of CIA agents, and I'm never going to stop talking about this because it's a little bit bizarre so that's just here. I mean, the writing's on the wall regarding Clinton indictments. Pick a crime, any crime, but CIA agents, Clinton server. Here, okay. Experts, Clinton emails could have compromised CIA names. Okay. CIA emails held indirect references to undercover officers. Okay. Do I lie? Don't answer that question. No, of course not. But that's my point. Am I lying about this? No. Here you go. NBC News. Here you go, ladies and gentlemen. Here you go. Horace. Here's the NBC News. We'll read that in a second. Would just like to take a moment to thank Obama for timing his improvements to the economy to coincide with Trump visiting. What a guy, eh? Exactly. They can't stand it. Oh my God, I'm debating my friend today, my buddy. I have a bunch of friends, good guys, very intelligent, but it's just they can't stand it. They can't stand it. And I'm like, a 4.1% growth. What's up? 4.1% growth. There goes, they were saying that, the end of the world and all this stuff was going to take place. The end of the world's not taking place. We have a good economy. That's about it. So it's like they can't stand all of this. And John Brennan knew that Hillary server had covert CIA. Clinton emails held indirect references to undercover CIA officers. And it was unencrypted for close to 6 months. A handful of emails forwarded to Hillary's personal server in her basement while she was Secretary of State contained references to undercover CIA officers, including one who was killed by a suicide attack in Afghanistan, according to U.S. officials who have reviewed them. By contrary to some published reports, 3 officials said there were no... Rather, they said State Department and other officials attempted to make veiled references to intelligence officers in the emails, references that were deemed classified when the messages were being reviewed years later. In one case, an undercover CIA officer was referred to as a State Department official with the word state in quotes, as if to suggest the emailer knew the officer was not actually a diplomat. It's like unbelievable. These are CIA officers, undercover CIA officers. She had the names of CIA officers, obviously coded, on her email server. Scott Bigler, hopefully Mueller is following President Trump on Twitter so he can actually find his tweets. Hashtag shadowban. Exactly. Hashtag shadowban. Absolutely. I agree with you. And then they're like, Twitter's like, no, we don't shadow ban. No, stupid, silly person who looks at reality and see whatever he or she sees, then says, hey, what's going on? Stupid person. No. You're probably one of those people who thinks that Bernie was cheated by the DNC. No. See, the algorithm is such that if you're conservative, you're going to be put in the worst possible light within our algorithm. That's all. But we don't shadow ban. That's not happening. And then, like, when Brian Fallon was like defending, he was like, "This shows yet again the leaking of selected details to give a completely false impression of what's actually contained in the emails." So the whole point was Yeah, the actual names of the CIA officers were not in the emails. Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't exonerate Clinton at all because references to CIA undercover CIA officers were in her emails. The emails were classified, of course. And then, of course, Adam Schiff. The determination that something is top secret for many people connotes that they're most closely held secrets, that their revelations will be extremely damaging. He was going on to try to defend her. Raines forwarded the email to the Clinton State Department aides Cheryl Mills and Jake Sullivan, who forwarded it to Clinton. Wow. And then if someone in my staff, one of the people overviewing this, did that, they would be fired and they would be prosecuted. Wow. Officials who had reviewed the uncensored version say Bash was attempting to preserve the CIA officer's cover, but some of the language he used is known to have been, now that this person is known to be, the other person is known to be a CIA officer, could be read as a U.S. government acknowledgement that CIA officers pose as State Department personnel in specific countries, in a specific country, Afghanistan, something widely known but not formally admitted. Therefore, the section of the email was classified and blocked from public release. Bash, who was Panetta's chief of staff, while Panetta was CIA director, sent the email to 4 people, including George Little, a Pentagon spokesman, and Philippe Raines, an inside aide to Secretary of State. Wow. 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 That is huge. That's huge. Very, very huge. Very, very huge. Very important. Very important. Raines forwarded the email to Clinton, to Clinton's State Department. Did Raines even have security clearance to read the email? There's no record of Clinton commenting. Bash, in an interview, said the email was not classified when it was sent or forwarded. Who cares? It could be retroactive. It did not reference the name of the individual. Of course it did. So what? Once the CIA posthumous... Oh, my God. Bash added, the original unclassified email could be read to confirm the general use. Yeah. No, that's not true at all. Some of the references to covert intelligence and other discussions of CIA drone strikes were against classification rules and were sloppy. Yeah. But if views are split, I mean, she was given the benefit of the doubt. It was just so ridiculous. This is just crazy. So there's another one. Clinton emails could have compromised. Hillary's emails included CIA officer names, report says. I mean, and then you get John O'Brien. John O'Brien. Richard Powell, please search Larry Nichols Insurance. Richard Powell, I will in a moment. Thank you, Richard. Thank you. Crazy Eddie. Thanks for standing up against this about the censorship, HA. Thank you, Crazy Eddie. Scott Bigler, thank you. Richard. I will in just, I just got to finish this. Thank you, Richard Powell. Thank you, Richard Powell. So this is really, really important because all this nonsense about, Stormy or Karen McDougal, whatever, it's, oh, and then really quickly, I'm just looking at this site. Facebook stock gets hammered. Hillary's emails included CIA officers' names. Hillary Clinton emails included the names of CIA officers serving overseas and foreigners who are on the spy agency's payroll, potentially endangering their lives, it was reported Monday. It's a death sentence, a senior intelligence committee official told The Observer. If we're lucky, only foreign agents, not officers, will get killed because of this. The papers, this is the New York Post. So I'm reading the New York Post. Here's the link to the New York Post. So this is a New York Post link, and I've read this a lot of times before, but you know what? Hillary Clinton's emails include the names of CIA officers serving overseas. Okay, so the paper said the intelligence community is in panic mode, trying to determine which agents may have been compromised. CIA officials assume foreign agencies intercepted unencrypted emails stored on Clinton's home server. Well, of course. 22 were top secret. I'll spend the rest of my career trying to figure out what classified information was in those deleted emails, said a Pentagon counterintelligence official. Look at that. Everybody is mad as heck. The worst part is that Moscow and Beijing have that information. Of course they do. I wrote that in Butter Top Secret emails. But the intelligence community maybe never will. Well, the intelligence community, quote unquote, that's a whole other story. Clinton has maintained she never sent or received emails that were marked classified. The original fake news story. So the Democrats want to criminalize fake news. They should have that's pick a crime, any crime. They could have indicted Clinton on fake news. That's one thing they could have indicted Clinton on. So that whole thing, whether, Clinton emails could have compromised CIA agent names. This is an AP Associated Press. Could you imagine if Trump emails could have compromised CIA agent names? Could you imagine? Could you imagine? The names of CIA personnel could have been compromised not only by hackers who may have penetrated Hillary Clinton's private server or State Department system, but also by the release itself of tens of thousands of emails. Because the names were coded. At least 47 of the emails contain notations, BG CIA PRS org /org, which indicates the material referred to CIA personnel or matters related to the agency. Again, how is this not, sorry, trying to look up something. How is this not the biggest news ever, or at least news that could have led to her being charged? It's ridiculous. And so here you have Judge Janine. Let's just continue.
But first, his client doesn't tell him. He abruptly.
This is Giuliani.
Did that recording as soon as the president said the word check. We are now, what we're investigating is how did that happen? What actually did happen? What was eliminated? And then he's going to raise that question with every one of these tapes. How many of them did he play around with? I mean, the guy has like 180 tapes. Well, Lanny Davis, his lawyer, said he didn't intend to deceive. Well, I don't know who's a bigger liar. I mean, Lanny Davis has to confront the fact that he, with Chris Cuomo, he took his phone and he put it in the desk drawer and said, I'm not going to record it. What do you mean mean you're not intending to deceive?
Well,
But I don't know. These people, these Clinton people, think they can just say something. He didn't intend to deceive, and we got him on tape, putting it in a drawer.
well, you know, Mr. President, Mr.
So now he's after Lanny Davis, which is also hilarious.
I both know you're a former prosecutor. I'm a former prosecutor. You got to lay a foundation for the admissibility of any tape. And what struck me the first time I heard the tape, and we'll get to how CNN got it in a moment, was you have to, number one, make sure that it's admissible in evidence if it's recorded with the permission of one of the parties. And it was, because Michael Cohen recorded it. It was unethical because he's the lawyer, but that's another issue. Then we have to lay a proper foundation. Anyone listening to that tape knows that all of a sudden it's cut off, it's garbled, at a crucial period of time when the president seems to be saying, no, you make a check out. We don't use cash.
Yes.
And nobody asked any questions about it. You and I both know they cannot tamper with this. But the only way for us to figure out if this is accurate is for you to get the original tape. How are you going to do that?
Well, we got to hope it exists. This could be a recording of a recording. We're not sure yet. That they can probably determine. You're right. We may never be able to determine that, but we have determined the fact that he tampered with the tape in the sense that he abruptly, mid-conversation, turned it off. Now,
So that's also the thing. I mean, it's like Hillary compromised the election. First, last. Thank you. I agree. I agree with you. First, last. Papa D, is the MSN all back full to regain credibility, or is there MSM counterintelligence morass also with which to deal? Someone's doing a 180. Well, I don't. I'm not 100% sure if the MSM is not going to regain credibility until once Trump wins again in 2020, you'll actually see even CNN. I actually think this, even CNN, like a sea change even there. Like they'll gravitate towards power initially because they'll realize they have nothing left. It's like a boxer that unloads with everything he has, and at the end of the day, he just gets knocked out by the guy he spent 5 rounds trying to pummel, and the guy's just like standing there like, really? That's all you have? That's all you have?
we know he didn't do that for a good reason, because a guy that goes into a reporter and hides his thing, he says, I'm not taping it, and then is taping it for 2 hours, is definitely not someone who didn't intend to deceive, as Lanny Davis falsely said.
Well, in addition to that, he's lying, but that's another issue. You and I both know that in order for the government to admit something into court, they've got to show its continuing custody and that no changes, additions, or deletions have been made. If they cannot prove that there are no deletions or changes, and we don't know where it's been, could that be the reason that it was leaked to CNN? And do you have any idea how it got to CNN?
Isn't that interesting? Because last week at this time, Jay Sekulow and I were being accused of leaking it. Maggie Haberman, who got the story, to her credit, made it clear that it didn't come from us. There's only one other place it could come from: Cohen and Lanny Davis. And people wondered, well, why did they put it out?
Thank you, Dave.
It's harmful to Cohen. I think they put it out because they wanted the doctored version to obscure whatever else might be on that tape, which will be I'm sure it'll be good for us. That, I think, is lost to us. It was never recorded in the first place.
So at the end of the day, they don't have an actual tape. They don't have an actual tape. They don't have an actual tape. So all of this is nonsense. So ladies and gentlemen, all of this is nonsense. And you juxtapose or you compare what's really taking place. Hillary had the names of CIA agents, references to actual undercover agents in Afghanistan. Agents whose names were outed. And you have John O'Brien. John O'Brien. I voted for a communist. What's the problem? What's the problem? The tape has been doctored. So what do they have? They have other tapes. Of what? Of other women that he had intimate relationships with, who willingly took money and willingly had sexual relations with him. All consensual. Okay, now what do they have? They have nothing. They would try to say, well, it's a campaign finance violation. Okay. But then what about money funneled through a law firm? What about money funneled through a law firm to pay for the Steele dossier? And I think that the next couple of months are going to be just so, because they're already blaming Russia for Claire McCaskill's loss, so she's going to lose, okay? There are going to be more Republican senators, not less, after this election. The House will not go blue. There won't be a blue wave because there's no enthusiasm. There's zero enthusiasm within the Democratic Party, and they're trying to mask what they've always done. What they've always done, ladies and gentlemen, what they have always done is they've said, look, we don't have Brando. They don't have any enthusiasm, and what they've always done is then they've said, well, you know what? Let's pretend there's enthusiasm by pretending we're really, really upset and we hate, we just absolutely hate Trump. So that'll be our enthusiasm. Hatred of Trump is our enthusiasm. Hatred of Trump is our enthusiasm. That's the thing. And that's not enthusiasm. That's not what energy and passion. People don't go to the polls for that. And when you see that, like the same polls, that showed, I mean, we can go ahead here. I mean, here's just, here. Clinton up. (2016). Hillary Clinton leads Trump by 12. This is October 23rd. New poll shows Clinton over Trump by double digits. CNN, the trusted news source. And this is not, this isn't even like, Hillary Clinton has a 12-point lead over Donald Trump and has reached 50% support nationally among likely voters. And new ABC News poll tracking. The poll shows Clinton with a 50% support to Trump's 38%, with 5% backing Libertarian Gary Johnson and 2% supporting Jill Stein. I voted for Jill Stein. Because I was on the left at that point, and she wants to bring home soldiers from war. But if I could go back, I would actually just vote for Trump. Because he's doing a very good job. The poll comes on the heels of a third presidential debate with a post. Okay, so 20-point advantage among women. White women voted for Trump. Trump actually made that statement, grab women by the you-know-what, and then white women still voted for him. Overall, it was 53%. Clinton leads among voters of all education levels. Then you hear this like this whole dumb thing, like, well, the most educated people. Okay, hold on. You're welcome. You're going to say, oh, HA, I'm trying to sleep tonight. Are you doing this to me? Why am I not up 50 points? Okay, hopefully this is.
is wrong for workers and wrong for America. Now, having said all this, why aren't I 50 points ahead, you might ask? Well, the choice for working families has never been clearer. I need your help to get Donald Trump's record out to everybody. Nobody should be fooled. He proudly declared himself 100% right to work. Is wrong for workers and wrong for America. Now, having said all this, why aren't I 50 points ahead, you might ask? Well, the choice for working families has never been clearer. I need your help to get Donald Trump's record out.
Doesn't she have a lovely voice? Everyone here, almost 800 people, listen to her voice before going to bed. You're welcome. You're welcome. Richard Powell, I did that, but I want to go ahead. I like to try to get sources that even the left will use, and I can't find the sources here. So I did that, but I just can't find sources that I want to use at this moment. I do appreciate that though. Thank you for, thank you for letting me know about that. I have read about that, but I want to get sources that I can use. So yeah. So hold on. I'm not done with you yet. Not done with you people yet. Okay, so Clinton. Oh yeah, send, receive. Why not? Since that's actually the real.
Whether it was a personal account or a government account, I did not send classified material and I did not receive any material that was marked or designated classified, which is the way you know.
No. Even Comey said you're wrong. Fake news. Fake news. Joe Scarborough's. Oh my. Don't know. Blump's surely done for this time. Hey, is that Joe Scarborough? Okay. I'm sorry. I just had to. Okay, I'm sorry. One more. I'm not going to torture anyone.
Whether it was a personal account
beautiful
or
sound.
a government account.
Beautiful.
I did not send classified material and I did not receive any material that was marked or designated classified, which is the way you know whether something is. What you're seeing now is a disagreement between agencies saying, you know what, they should have, and the other saying, no,
it's a disagreement.
It has nothing to do with me.
It's nothing to do with Clinton. It's all the intelligence agency that everyone loves so much. The community. Tamara Friedman, I just love your channel. Tamara Friedman, you are absolutely wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Tamara. Thank you, Tamara, for your support and just for always watching. Thank you, Tamara Friedman. Thank you. Should I play this again? Yes or no? Since there's a delay, I can't hear anything, so I'm just going to play it.
Whether it was a personal account or a government account, I did not send classified material and I did not receive any material that was marked or designated classified, which is the way you know whether something is. What you're seeing now is a disagreement between agencies saying, you know what, they should have, and the other saying, no, they shouldn't. That has nothing to do with me. If it had been a government account and I said, release it, we'd be having the same arguments.
If you had a government account, you wouldn't be releasing anything because the government would have had it. Oh my God. She had an unencrypted server to hide because of the Clinton Foundation is so obvious. It was egregious. If she doesn't get charged with that crime, pick a crime, any crime, there's other crimes she's committed. And it's just unbelievable. It is just unbelievable. I can go on forever regarding like this. Everything she just said, by the way, was debunked by James Comey himself. But I have to say, she has a lovely voice, though. Very, very soothing.
Account or
so Very soothing voice. Very lovely. Very, very lovely, soothing. Here's the, if you want to go to sleep to it. This is the wipe with the server. Oh, maybe I can get that. I'm sorry. I said this is just too much. Wipe, sir. Wipe with a cloth. Yeah.
When we came to
I
the
don't care. I
beginning-
don't care. Okay.
Well, my personal emails are my personal business.
No, they're not. No, they're not. When you're Secretary of State with a private server in your basement that's mixed alongside that also has classified top secret intelligence along with your yoga routine. No, they're not. The yoga routine is owned by the US government. Nobody would allow that ever in any government. Forget about the US government. Forget about us, okay? You've already controlled and destroyed enough. Any government in the world would never, ever, 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 ever allow that, ever. There's not a government in the world that would allow that, but check it out.
Right? So we went through a painstaking process and turned over 55,000 pages of anything we thought.
A painstaking process. They did keyword searches that she didn't even do. Well, now she's saying we, so that this could be used against her during the indictment of the trial or whatever. It was her three of her lawyers, Kendall Mills and Samuelson, who did keyword searches, and they had no one had any knowledge of what was classified, what wasn't. And that was without even allegedly without even Obama's knowledge. She was so surreptitious she didn't even tell Obama, which of course Obama knew.
Could be work related. Under the law, that decision is made by the official. I was the official. I made those decisions. What, like with a cloth or something? No, well, no.
Oh my God.
What, like with a cloth or something? No, well, no.
Oh my God. And they just let her go with it. With Trump, it's like Trump Jr. meeting. Trump Jr. meeting. Patricia Moreno. I never once thought about asking why she wasn't 50 points ahead, because I knew why. Prayers for Callie. We are on fire again. Thank you. Wow, that's true. Patricia Moreno. Thank you. That's true. Prayers. Absolutely. Absolutely. Patricia Moreno, thank you so very much. Thank you, Patricia Moreno. Thank you. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, we all knew. We all knew.
Decisions. What, like with a cloth or something? No, well, no. I don't know how it works digitally at all. I do not have any.
I don't know how it works digitally at all, but that's also intent. I don't know how it works digitally at all, but I had a whole bunch of people, including Brian Pagliano, set everything up and I paid them. And then when Uma Abedin said, oh, by the way, you're having problems, do you want to state.gov? I said, no way. But there was no intent there to break laws. James Comey is probably the biggest imbecile on the planet. Also, like, nobody believes him. Even even Democrats who claim that he's great don't believe him. That's the thing. That's why it's unsustainable. That's why we know Hillary will get indicted on pick a crime, any crime. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not that good wins out over evil, because every day evil at some point on this planet wins out. It's not that, that's why, you try to live your life in a good way. It's not that, it's just a matter of, justice will prevail because every day there's injustice. It's that she's sloppy and everyone who covered for her is no longer there. Here she is.
And I know you want to make a point, and I can just repeat what I have said. In order to be as cooperative as possible, we have turned over the server. They can do whatever they want to with the server.
She used a number of servers, and they were all wiped clean.
To figure out what's there, what's not there. That's for the people investigating.
And at this point right now, she knows Comey, she knows Strzok, she knows Page, she knows all of them aren't going to do anything. She knows all of them aren't going to do anything. And right before, it all goes down, Bill Clinton eventually meets with Loretta Lynch. And this is like the point where I was doing my uploads. And I'm like, please, FBI. I sounded like, this really naive guy. And so, because I figured that, the FBI actually was autonomous. It wasn't. That's when I wrote a Salon article and a Huffington Post article, and people were like, how dare you write this? This is really horrible. If she will eventually be indicted, but the issue here is that, let's say she's not indicted, the issue is that she committed crimes. Trump didn't commit crimes. I mean, that's just a fact. There's no evidence for Trump. Where's the evidence? Oh, what about this? That's not evidence. But it was Steele dossier. That's not evidence. A Trump Jr. meeting. That's not evidence. There's no crime. Karen McDougal, Stormy, not evidence of anything. What's the crime? Obstruction. He fired Comey. Yeah, he should have. Obama should have. There's no evidence of anything. She doesn't get indicted ever. Then you know what? I finally got a cure for Viagra working too well. She will eventually, because there's just too much. There's too much insanity. It's if you're walking criminal. If you're walking criminal, there's too much insanity. It's too much. There's too many crimes that she's committed. So it's like Lenny McCarthy. It's like if you rob a bank, take the cash home, the authorities get a warrant to search your place, but you get to clean it up because privacy. Exactly. So ladies and gentlemen, what can I tell you? Thank you so very, very much. This has been, share this segment also, because hit subscribe if you're new to this channel. Please hit subscribe and share this segment. We are growing ever so slowly. And this is one of the first segments on all of YouTube talking about the fact that the Cohen tapes have been altered. If you have the Cohen tapes altered, then you have nothing. That's their last-ditch attempt at Trump. The only thing Trump needs to worry about is when he is reelected and Hillary is indicted eventually of a crime and he has complete power. Then he has to worry about, possibly being too, overzealous or arrogant or, cocky or whatever. But other than that, I mean, really, it's just, he pretty much has everything going for him. Give me your thoughts. Well, I was going to say, give me your thoughts below. Thinking of the uploads. Ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe right now. Share this segment everywhere. It's all they have, and now they have nothing. And now they have nothing. So it's all they have, and now they have absolutely nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. God bless you. Sleep well. Angela Goodwin, thank you so much, Angela Goodwin. Thank you. Angela Goodwin, thank you so very, very much. Angela, thank you. And thank you again, Angela. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. God bless you all. Sleep well. I'll see you tomorrow. And it's been very, very fun. This was a great segment. Hit subscribe. Make sure, ladies and gentlemen, you get notifications. Check on this channel and make sure you get all notifications. Thank you so much for listening.